Thank you.
Thank you. Come on.
Thank you. Ellen has touched on this, so I'm a big believer in admitting that I don't know what I don't know. And since these are uncharted waters for D80, I was wondering, do you intend to collaborate or consult with surrounding districts who've been successful in dealing with the strains of shrinking budgets and even moving to grade centers? And if so, how do you intend to do this?
Go first. So, Najwa, to answer your question, yes, when we were looking for a new superintendent 2 years ago, one of the things that the current board was looking for was a superintendent who had a very strong finance background. I think that is one thing that the district here has lacked for many years, 3-4 years, is a superintendent who had a strong finance background. With that being said, Dr. O'Malley has a K-12 background experience. He has many contacts and he has collaborated on many issues that we have faced. And so I know he's doing that. We are looking at neighboring communities. You know, we're hearing what the positives are about going to grade centers. What are the negatives? You know, and I think for Norwich School District 80, we have to make it work for us. And we'll find that right blend. But we may have to make a few tweaks along the way. But yes, to answer your question, Dr. O'Malley has definitely consulted with other districts and colleagues in the industry. So.
Yeah, it's a really big concern and a really great question. I think it's the responsibility of the board to really look at everything. And like Pasquale said, you have to look at everything through the lens of who we are, not just look at it just carte blanche. Because what may work in some towns, and really dive into what made it work. So maybe identifying, some of the success stories, and literally going there and knocking on their door and say, hey, can I have an hour of your time? I think by far, personal interaction with those folks, you get a lot more out of an email or a phone call, because you get to know, and probably some things probably would come out more than just a phone call. But I think any administrator or even board member who's gone through this would probably welcome that knock on the door, because they were in that position and they probably did the same thing. And if they're in that position of being on a school board or being in a faculty, they're going to want to help someone in that same position. It's natural, right? That's why we're doing this. I mean, that's why we're all sitting here, is that we want to help, right? So that person's going to, for sure, want to sit down. So I think, no doubt, knocking on that door, getting in their face and trying to take notes and bringing that back, and then evaluating what that is, and what fits and what may not fit. And like Pasquale said, evaluate, kind of keep that open, going, can we do this, can we do this, can we do this, does this make sense for us? So that's what I would do. Thanks.
Okay, to expand on Pasquale, he's been there, he's been through, we have seen the studies from STR on are the buildings able to do it. We actually had another consultant as well that came in and gave a lot of information on it. What have I done personally since I've considered running for the board? I'm lucky in an aspect that my job allows me to work in a lot of different schools in a lot of different communities all around Illinois. And I've taken the extra time to talk to not only the teachers, but some teachers' aides and a couple of the principals that had grade centers from the start, that had a separate elementary and junior high right from the start, and ones that went through the change. And what I found amazing on it is the main response that I got out of all these schools was, it is as great as you make it. You can't throw the kids into a junior high, throw the teachers, separating them and say, here you go, make it great. It will only be as great as the teachers the board, the parents, and the community want it to be, which I think we have a leg up here. We'll say it, the Norwich bubble. You know, a lot of people know each other. We have an opportunity before us that can really put us back on the map and really make this great and make more generations want to stay here and come back to these schools. So, to me, the proof is in the pudding. I've seen schools change that. The schools are in a lot more dire need, so to say, than ours are. That actually have boards up on windows, some very poor neighborhoods. The teachers are into it, the kids love it. I've been in high-end neighborhoods in the North Shore that I've seen checks handed over from residents for $25,000 that said, I don't like that, replace it, here's the money. And the kids say, they hate junior high. It is what you make of it. So my getting in, what I'm looking at is working with everybody, just talking with the different aspects. It's not really coming down to are we a rich community? Are we a poor community? It's coming down to everybody working together. This is a great opportunity for the future. And I think everybody needs to put in the effort to make it that way. Thank you.
Like you said before, I'm a believer too that if you don't know something, don't know something. So the best thing is to try to see if you could get answers from the people that actually went through through that situation and see what the best options and alternatives are there to try to optimize our current situation and make it fit for our community and our kids. Thank you.
All right. This concludes tonight's program. I would like to I would like to thank the STMP and the PTA for sponsoring this event. I'd like to thank the candidates. And I'd like to thank all of you for participating this evening. It's very important for the community. So thank you, and everyone have a good evening.